Welcome everyone, this is Kerjims channel. Now we are back to our new episodes of two semi-reality champions and comparison featured by Wild League of Legends versus the Mobile Legends Bang Bang. But before that, please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell button so you will be notified to our new next episode video. Let's do this!
Ziggs is a ranged mage champion, adept at long-range bombardments, area of effect damage, and battlefield control. Ziggs' passive is Short Fuse. Every few seconds, his next basic attack will deal bonus damage. Short Fuse comes up more quickly every time Ziggs uses one of his abilities. Bouncing Bomb throws out a bomb that explodes if it lands on an enemy, damaging all surrounding enemies. However, if the bomb doesn't land on an enemy, it bounces instead, exploding when it does land on an enemy or on its third bounce. Note that the distance you throw Bouncing Bomb determines its speed as it bounces. As Ziggs' main damage source, take Bouncing Bomb at level 1 and max it by level 9. Satchel Charge throws an explosive charge on the ground that explodes after a short delay or when Ziggs reactivates the ability. When Satchel Charge explodes, it damages and knocks back all nearby enemies. Ziggs can use Satchel Charge to blast himself away without taking damage. Primarily a utility spell, take a 1 point Satchel Charge by level 4 and max it last. Explosive Minefield scatters a number of mines in an area, each exploding on any enemy who walks over one. Enemies hit by a mine are damaged and slowed for a short time. Enemies who trigger multiple mines take reduced damage from mines beyond the first. As a strong damage and area control spell, take Explosive Minefield early and max it by level 13. Ziggs' ultimate is Mega Inferno Bomb, which blasts an area on the map, dealing tons of damage to all enemies caught in the area. Mega Inferno Bomb has a massive range and displays a warning to its enemies right before it lands. As with all ultimates, take Mega Inferno Bomb at levels 6, 11, and 16. When laning, try to combo Bouncing Bomb with Short Fuse to harass your opponent. Here when Gragas comes in, I can take a good chunk of his health with a quick combo, giving me control over the lane. Once you learn Explosive Minefield, you can do even more. I throw damage at Gragas until he gets low. I drop Explosive Minefield behind him, giving him no way to escape, and leaving me first blood. With enough ability power, you can take down individual champions from full health. While Gragas stops short of Explosive Minefield, Bouncing Bomb and Short Fuse deal a significant amount of damage. As Gragas runs, Satchel Charge bounces him back into me. I lead in with Mega Inferno Bomb, making sure he can't outrun it. As he jukes back, I land Short Fuse. If he had kept running, Bouncing Bomb would pick up the kill. As a mage, you'll want extra mana through the Ancient Golem buff. The easiest way to do this is to hop over the wall with Satchel Charge, then immediately hit Short Fuse and Bouncing Bomb. Drop Explosive Minefield only after the small monsters are dead. Lead the Golem into the mines and finish it off with Bouncing Bomb if needed. Used correctly, Satchel Charge is an excellent escape tool. Here I get jumped by Gangplank and Gragas. I know I need to escape down toward my turret, so I place the Satchel Charge in front of Gragas, flash on top of it, and blow myself to safety. Gragas just barely gets in range for Explosive Cast, but Shen saves me with Stand United. Use Mega Inferno Bomb to help your teammates, but hold on to it until your enemies are crowd controlled. I see Shen move in on Malphite. As soon as he lands Shadow Dash, I toss Mega Inferno Bomb. It deals so much damage that even as Malphite attempts to run, Shen picks up the kill with Vorpal Blade. Teamfights for Ziggs are all about tactics. Noticing two nearby enemies, I open up for burst damage with Mega Inferno Bomb, Bouncing Bomb, and Short Fuse. As a result, we take down Malphite, and Gangplank runs away. Once they regroup, I choke off their main entrance with Explosive Minefield and run back once I see Gragas cross the wall. I open up on Gangplank and keep trying to run in between casts, finally escaping over the wall with Satchel Charge. Thanks to Ziggs' tricks, I just barely make it out to safety with 2 kills for my team along the way. On Dominion, make use of Ziggs' long range. Assaulting the windmill at the very beginning, stay in the back and lob your abilities at the enemy team. Constantly interrupt their captures and attempt to take the point for yourself. Anytime multiple enemies are grouped together, toss out a few more abilities. After taking control of the point, look for weak enemy champions to see if you can pick up any kills. I try to chase down Karthus, finally killing him with Flash, Ignite, and a long-range bouncing bomb. Meanwhile, we've worn down Lux enough for Ezreal to pick up a second kill. Ziggs is also exceptional at sieging points for the same reason. Attacking the windmill once more, I place Explosive Minefield on the center of the point, severely damaging Karthus and limiting his mobility. I loop around the point, hitting Short Fuse and Bouncing Bomb to pick up the kill, allowing us to take the capture once his passive ends. For runes, I suggest Magic Penetration marks, ability power per level seals, ability power per level glyphs, and flat ability power quintessences. This build is aimed purely at dealing extra damage with all of Ziggs' abilities. For masteries, try 2109, taking all the ability power and magic damage increasing masteries in offense, plus magic penetration and increased neutral buff duration in utility. For summoner spells, Ignite and Flash will help deal even more damage and secure kills or escape from scary situations. In Classic, consider opening with a Doran's Ring, and maybe add a few more to cover early mana regeneration needs. Early Sorcerer's Shoes and Rabbidan's Death Cap give damage output. For other valuable items in your build, consider Riley's Crystal Scepter, Void Staff, Will of the Ancients, and Zhonya's Hourglass. In Dominion, your build should be similar. Open with Prospector's Ring, Boots of Speed, and 2 health potions. Sorcerer's Shoes and Rabbidan's Death Cap are still great damage items. You'll want some cooldown reduction, so add in Morello's Evil Tome before investigating Void Staff, Riley's Crystal Scepter, and Will of the Ancients.
Eventually, the famed Yordle Academy in Piltover learned about Ziggs' volatile experiment. Here I would like to point out that in the modern lore, Yordles are using disguises to hide among humans, because most humans believe that Yordles are extremely dangerous creatures. The concept of a famed Yordle Academy comes from the old lore, and it will likely get retconned eventually. In fact, in the new Cars in Legends of Runeterra, the University of Piltover was revealed, and it is even showing a statue of Heimeringer, who looks like a Yordle here, but people still think that he's a human. We'll get to that later. But yes, the Yordle Academy is likely not real. With that said, Piltover surely is full of Yordles, but they all attend normal science academies, at least as far as we know now. Anyway, after the academy learned about Ziggs' experiments, the professors invited Ziggs over to demonstrate what he was doing. However, given how Ziggs' experiments usually go, without a sense for safety, his presentation had an early conclusion, as the Hextech engine he was demonstrating overheated and exploded, blowing a huge hole in the wall of the academy. After that, the professors dusted themselves off and motioned for him to leave. Devastated, Ziggs prepared to return to Bandle City in shame. However, before he could leave, a group of Zonite agents infiltrated the academy and kidnapped the professors. The Piltover military tracked the captives to a Zonite prison, but their weapons were incapable of destroying the fortified walls. Determined to outdo them, Ziggs began experimenting on a new kind of armament, and quickly realized that explosives would be the right answer. Before long, Ziggs had created a line of powerful bombs he lovingly dubbed Hexplosives. With his new creations ready for their first trial, Ziggs traveled to Zone and sneaked into the prison compound. He launched a gigantic bomb at the prison and watched with glee as the explosion tore through the reinforced walls. Once the smoke had cleared, Ziggs infiltrated the facility, sending guards running with a hail of bombs. He rushed to the cell, blew the door off its hinges, and led the captive Yordles to freedom. Upon returning to the academy, the humble professors recognized Ziggs with the title Dean of Demolitions. Vindicated at last, Ziggs accepted the proposal, eager to bring his ever-expanding range of explosives to Greater Valorant. Once again, I have to point out that this story came from the old lore. In fact, the reason why at the end it mentions that Ziggs would bring his explosives to Valorant is because in the old world, Valorant was the one massive continent we had. These days, Valorant is only the upper half of the map. Either way, because this old story kinda fits the new world as well, Riot was able to copy-paste it and let it be canon for the time being. After this bio, Ziggs got a comic with Jinx where we actually learned a lot more about his life in Piltover and Zone. And thankfully, everything in this comic is canon. So now, let's quickly have a look at some more useful information. From the comic we learned that Ziggs was Heimeringer's apprentice. And the reason why he looks so scary here is because this is where we learned how Yordles work. You see, Heimerdinger invented something called glamour. It's some kind of a scientific spell that helps Yordles hide the fact that they are Yordles. Because in many parts of Runeterra, including Piltover and Zone, humans believe that Yordles are extremely dangerous creatures. And so, with the help of glamour, Yordles can transform to look more human. But here's the catch. The way glamour works is that it makes the Yordles look less dangerous in the eyes of the beholder. So as different people look at the Yordle, they each see them a little bit differently. And this becomes important in just a moment. Anyway, here I would like to point out that Ziggs' real name is Zygmunt. And because he keeps using explosives to help all of their clients, Heimerdinger gets mad at him, so Ziggs decides to cool off outside. There he meets Jinx, who, because she's a bit insane, sees Ziggs as a normal Yordle. Because to her, Ziggs doesn't look threatening, so the glamour has no effect. On top of that, Jinx thinks that Ziggs was made up by her imagination. Either way, because they both got a soft spot for explosions, they become friends. And Jinx convinces Ziggs to spend more time together and have more fun. While a night with explosives sounded great, at the back of his mind, Ziggs felt sad because he promised Heimerdinger he would stop using his bombs. But he quickly forgot about his promise as the two ruined a gallery, made a cake factory disappear, and blew up an opera house. For the grand finale, Jinx wanted to destroy the Warden Station. Ziggs didn't want to hurt anyone, and so he asked her if they could let people evacuate the building first. But Jinx told him that she would find it boring if there were no people inside. And so, in an attempt to save the people inside, Ziggs stole Jinx's ignition device and ran away. Unfortunately, with her rocket launcher, Jinx was able to easily stop Ziggs and get the ignition back. Then she set off the explosion. The explosion was so massive that Jinx actually felt bad for a moment. But when she learned that nobody died, she got happy again. This is when Ziggs' glamour wore off, and people noticed that he was just a Yordle. Again, because people are afraid of Yordles, they wanted to kill him. And so, Ziggs called out to Heimerdinger, who was in the crowd, to tell everyone that he wasn't dangerous. But doing so would put Heimerdinger in danger too. So the easiest option was to simply pretend he didn't know him and abandon Ziggs entirely. After this, the two parted ways, and Ziggs left with Jinx. That's how Ziggs moved from Piltover to Zone. While this is where the comic ends,